Okay, so we're now at part 2 of on page 2 and part 2 of calculating Aretha Franklin's birth time. So we've come to the conclusion our sidereal time from the book for 32642 is 001312. And so if you read the instructions, it says the next adjustment is the interval before or after noon that the birth occurred. At this point, you have to refer to your ephemeris using the example. We would go and we found that. So the next thing we have to do is figure out how many hours before noon that the birth occurred. So she was born 8 hours and 30 minutes before noon. So that's the interval from the noon previous. So 8 hours and 30 minutes before noon. So we have to correct the sidereal time by adding 8 hours, 30 minutes. So, or subtracting, I'm sorry. 8 hours, 30 minutes. Because it's a AM birth time, you subtract. If it was a PM birth time, we would add. So we're going to subtract this, that's 12. So you can't borrow 13 minutes, you can't take away 30 from 13. So you have to borrow, so we have to go 24 hours first. And then we have to make it 23 because we need to borrow 60 minutes. So 60 plus 13 is 73. 73 minus 30 is 43. So have your calculators handy. 23 minus 8 is 15. So this is now the corrected sidereal time. And so now there's another adjustment we need to make. Since we are dealing in sidereal time, a third adjustment is necessary to reach the correct Greenwich mean time or Greenwich sidereal time at hour of birth. The adjustment is called the acceleration on the interval and will always be considered in seconds. The interval, as we have determined, is the period before or after noon that the birth occurred. In our example, in this example here, the interval is 9 hours 36 minutes since it was 9:36 p.m. or 9:36 afternoon. The acceleration on the interval will be determined by adding 10 seconds for every hour of the interval. So 10 hours times 10 seconds, and dividing the minutes of the interval by 6. Then that gives you convert that into seconds. So what we're going to do is do the math on that. It's easier than it sounds. It sounds really confusing, but it's not. So if we have, she was born 8 hours after noon. So to 8 times 10, and the instructions are on the next page too. To make it real simple, it breaks it down how to do it very easily on the sheet. It gives a little example up there. So 8 times 10 is 80. And then if you take the minutes and divide by 30 divided by 6 is what? 5. So 30 divided by 6 equals 5 minutes. So 80 plus 5 equals 85. 85 seconds, there's no such thing. So 85 seconds equals 1 minute and 25 seconds. No, 1 hour, 1 minute, 25 seconds, sorry. And because this is an AM birth, we're subtracting 1 minute and 25 seconds from the corrected sidereal time. So we're going to make one more correction before it's actually the right time. So 1 minute, so you have to line this up. These are seconds. And 1 minute minus. If it was a PM birth, we would add. So we have to do the same thing here. We can't do that exactly. So 43, 42, that's 6, 72. 41 and 15. So you get, when you take from that 1 minute and 25 seconds, you get 15:41, 47. That's the actual CST, correct? Sidereal time. Okay. So now there's one more thing we need to do. So now we've got the GMT. We have one more step that's necessary when final adjustments, because now we have Greenwich time. But now what time was it in Memphis? So now we have to make that correction so it's actual the locality of where the birth took place. You will need to refer to your table of houses or a latitude and longitude table to determine the latitude and longitude for the place of birth. So, for example, her longitude and latitude for Memphis is 35 degrees north, 08 and 58 minutes, and longitude is 90 west, 02, 56. And in the handy American Atlas, it will give you the conversion, which is 06, 00, and 12 seconds difference from Greenwich. So Memphis, Tennessee, that longitude equals 6 hours and 12 seconds difference from Greenwich. So we're going to have to subtract that. Now, if you needed to do that formula, the formula's on the sheet. If you didn't know that, you can figure this out mathematically. And it's not that hard, and it's in those steps here too. In the handout that's on there. It shows you how to convert it to time. So now we're going to do a final adjustment and take away 6 hours from 15:41, so 06, 00, and 12, sorry, minus. So that gives us 35, 41, 09, 09, 41, 35. So this is where now we have the corrected time, sidereal time. So this at this point now is where you would look in the table of houses, and you're going to find this hour. The table of houses is set up so that it's in 24 hours, and the hour is listed on here pretty easily. 5 hours, 40 minutes. So you just have to find where it says 9 hours. So 9 hours, 41 minutes. So we have 9 hours, 40 minutes here. And we have to find the closest one in 9 hours, 44 minutes. So we have to, is it closer to 9 hours, 36 or 9 hours, 41? So the two closest are 9:40, and I think 9:36. So if we go down to this, like 9:40, I'm going to look here. And it gives the MC, the midheaven. But we're going to look at the latitude of 35. So you go down to where it says 35, that's the latitude in the middle. Go across to the ascendant, and it says 15 Scorpio 30 minutes. So I just happen to know that her actual Scorpio ascendant is, so it says in there, 15 Scorpio 30 minutes is 35 latitude, 35 degrees latitude. And then the midheaven is 22, MC is 22 degrees, Leo, it was 40 minutes in the book, 40 minutes. So we're really close. This is correct. This is correct without interpolating. That means refining the exact aspects. So this, we could actually start to see what the, it'll give you the house test. But we need to make more adjustments, which is the next step. after this. So at least we've got to where we're really, really, really close. Because 15 degrees is our actual rising, and 22 is our actual midheaven. So we know that this is correct. Everything we've done so far is correct. Following those simple steps. And if you just go over those steps over and over and over, I would do like 10 charts before just doing this far, as far as we've gotten now, before going further. Practice, practice, practice. Get it in your head, memorize the steps, and then go forward. And now we're in the next step is to interpolate all these and make refinements so that they're exact within 1 minute of degree, or 1 minute to what the computer can do. And that's what we're going to do in the next video. Okay? And then we'll be doing the planet calculations and so on and so forth. So for now, we've gotten a huge chunk done. The first major step is achieved. Join me again for the next video.